Hello, everybody. Welcome to Twillow Talk, or TwillowStache, as we say once a month. So welcome. I'm Tanys Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And I am joined by my beautiful co-host over there, Jennifer Jurkofsky.
Hello.
My holistic self. And we have our awesome guest, Gerald from TarotStache. I was going to say TwillowStache again.
I was going to say, well, I am from TwillowStache.
You are from TwillowStache. He's also from TarotStache, which is, his home channel.
Yeah.
So, welcome.
Which is a place where everybody who is a best chatter can now have their own merch for it.
That is awesome.
Awesome. So we might need to get the link for that put in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
I have it in mine.
Could you put it in the private chat, please? And I'll share it with everyone. That would
sure.
Be great. Thank you. So it's been quite a week in terms of stuff.
Yeah.
Schumann and all of that. We've got a lot happening. And I'm just looking for the Schumann resonance because, I'm a little behind. Okay, so let's put this in and let's share my screen so that you get to see what we're looking at. Is that the right one? Yes, it is. There we are. And it's not about the ads. It's about this. So we had a blackout, quite a long blackout, and then it caught up. And so power of 17. So it's not too elevated today, but last week, this was full, huge stuff happening. And then if we look at our space weather, okay, we'll agree to that. We have solar flares.
Before you move on to that, tell me what a blackout is and what that means for us here.
Absolutely. So it can be one of two things. It's either it's off the charts. So with the Schumann, oh my goodness, ads galore. With the Schumann, there's a chart here, right? And if it's off the chart, sometimes it'll show up as a blackout because the tool that is measuring it is not capable of measuring at that height, which is what I suspect it has been in these blackouts that we've had because I've been feeling it. The other thing is that it's a malfunction of the machine, but I think we've had some big stuff because when we look at the solar flares, especially today, we've had a couple of M-class solar flares again. So we have been through a more quiet time where they're in the A, B, kind of C area. Mm-hmm. Today we've had up to M-class, and there were a few last week as well that were M-class. So we feel the M-class in our system, right? We feel that sort of agitation or a headache or exhaustion, or we feel a little bit more moody, emotional, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that can also be affected, of course, by our KP index, which you'll see we have had some in the yellow, which is a little bit elevated. We have seen it up to 7 and 8s and stuff in the last month. We did have a little period of that. But so most of them are in this yellow stage here, the 5 area, which isn't bad, but we're still going to feel a little bit of it as we go forward. And so, so that's where we're at with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So we've had some stuff.
Absolutely.
Happening. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And of course, the moment we're going to do the transits, the dog wants to go out of the office.
Yeah, of course.
While she's doing that, what's the KP index?
The KP index is it's the planetary K index from the National Auroric Activity Center. So it's updated regularly. It's consists of a range from 0 to 9. And it's also an indicator of it's Schumann related, right? Yeah. So it's the amount of vibrational frequency.
Okay. Thank you.
In a different mechanism of monitoring it. Different tools.
Yeah, it's geomagnetic activity. So what's really
Yes.
cool is that it's the forecast for like the auroras and stuff that we see.
Yes.
But also it's measuring it like for power grids and satellites. So because it's magnetic, right? Geomagnetic activity can impact like power grids and satellites. So depending on like what's showing up for it, the Earth's like magnetic field gets its disturbances in the magnetic field, which is going to impact all the other stuff. So I just think it's so cool because, you know, we've got like all of these different things that are measuring different aspects of the one kind of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that one, when it's up in the orange and red, that's when you start to see interference with like satellites and stuff like that, right? You can have some satellites go down and, you know, because it interferes electromagnetically.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, and you know, the blackout stuff is super neat too, because you think about, like we've talked about this, Gerald, on the Laugh and Learns, but the neutrinos and coming through. And I can't help but, you know, think about how when we have those bursts of energy that are impacting, because I do think that they are connected to the Schumann. So when the sun is sending, you know, when it has its solar flares and things like that, the energy comes in and it impacts the Schumann. And so, you know, when we look at the transits, it's like, okay, for whatever reason, this particular energy of the transit that we're in is getting brought to us like with even more power and more, you know, energy. So
I do like that. I find it extremely interesting when different measurements from multiple platforms or disciplines link up and say, pay attention, because at one point you can put your tiny hand on something and suddenly it's like, oh, well, that's the Schumann, the solar flares, the KP index, astrology, different calendars are all going, there's something going on there. I love that. I love that overcomplication.
So I just thought I'd show this, it's a picture of some of the solar flares, since we're talking about that. So this is like a picture of the sun's surface, and you can see these things coming out of it. There are sunspots all around the sun, and sometimes there's large spots that can be affected. So these are pictures of the solar flares coming out. So here's another one. You can see a whole lot of activity right in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's pretty small, eh? My little magnifying glass. This is another form. And that's when we started with. So you can see they actually take pictures of some of the flares, so we can actually visualize what's happening in all of that. Yeah, so that's kind of how it all works.
I find it really interesting. You had talked about solar flares. My father was an amateur radio operator.
Oh, nice.
He talked about solar flares and how it did impact. It did impact the ability to communicate via radio. It's fascinating.
It would.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I understand that. Yeah, I don't understand it. I've heard it before, I should say.
Yes.
Well, and if you guys know me, I like to geek out on stuff. And so
Linda's our science geek.
And so I did in the blog on passengerconsciousness.ca. So if you guys really want to like deep dive into some of it, there's a whole series of blogs where we did our cosmic connection. So we talked about, you know, the connection between the stars and us. And then we talked about solar flares, space weather, and, you know, all of that. The Schumann we dove into. We talked about neutrinos again, and how neutrino oscillation carries unique signatures. And then, of course, I have to deep dive into like neutrinos with quantum physics and cosmic influence because, you know, it's just fun.
It's you.
if it's something that you're going like, I really want to learn more or understand more about what is actually happening and why are these things really influencing me and all of that, like that's a rabbit hole that you're welcome to go down.
Mhm.
And I'm just putting the link there so you can go and take a look. It's passengerconsciousness.ca. It is in the comments below, but
Thank you.
just so you have it.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I posted the link to the blog
Oh,
because
perfect.
it's a curiosity.
Thank you.
But
Yeah, it was super neat just kind of going through all of that. And again, like, you know, it's fun to geek out. Okay. So what is the energy that is hitting us hardcore right now? It is
Yes.
the gate 32. This is the gate of duration, the gate of continuity, and conservatism. So what does that mean? From a Gene Keys perspective, it means that we're moving from the energy, the shadow energy of failure, to the Siddhi energy of veneration through the gift of preservation. So it's about like taking some time to contemplate failure. Like, what does that mean for us? How does that show up in us? Our ability to see that there really isn't anything known as failure unless we choose to stop or to give up or to release something. Even then, if we're choosing to do it, it's not really failure, right? And so it's this beautiful energy of, you know, realizing that, you know, all of this can be, I like how he puts it, like this revelation for growth, right? It's individual, it's collective. It's about, you know, everything from, you know, failing a test to the fact that like we still have yet to end world hunger and, you know, we have excess in so many places. And it's this kind of idea that when we get caught up in it, how does he put it? Like we forget what it is to live well, right? We panic and then we end up losing time. And as, you know, as we get to a place where we can slow that down and we stop rushing through everything, this allows for presence. And in that presence, we're able to notice, right? The mirroring that happens, the tenderness that's there, the ability to take care of our wounding. Gerald, you said you had a talk earlier today on grief and wounding. And I think anybody who, you know, is going through anything like that or knows somebody who is should probably go check out your show, which I'm sure is on your playlist.
yes.
Right. But it really is this place where there is no failure, right? The mind is what brings us to that space where we think that there is, and it makes us feel that way. But where there is graciousness on our part, we're able to honor what is happening, no matter what label we've decided to put on it. And that really changes our perspective on it. And I love that Richard Rudd says, like, an ending is never failure. It's an illusion of our perception, right? It's a habit, but it doesn't have to be where we stay. And we can shift that through continuity, right? That's that preservation piece, the ability to preserve what we love, right? And so often, you know, we get into these places where the mind carries us and we desperately are trying to like hold on to things. We hold on to our identities, you know, which, like, if we really look at that, that's not who we are anyway. It's what the mind has decided to perceive us as, right? So like, what is it that we're really trying to preserve? But if we look at it in terms of transformation, then we've realized that, you know, what the mind's trying to preserve isn't actually real. And the only thing we end up preserving is suffering. Right. But if we can move through that and shatter that, then we are able to really step into that energy of veneration where it's like, it's all okay. We're able to recognize that, you know, everything is just part of the experience. And I love that. And I say that with clients all of the time, right? You're having an experience. That's it. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just, if I don't want to have this experience anymore, What do I need to shift? What do I need to change? If I'm continuing to have the same experience and I don't like it, it's not failure. I just haven't shifted yet, and that's okay. But when I'm ready, then I'll shift, right? It's really about changing and shifting the mindset about it, as opposed to getting caught up in the fear of the failure.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because everything changes.
Yeah.
That's the one constant. Nothing stays the same.
Anytime we learn something, we change.
Yeah.
Right? Because learning changes our perception of reality, our perception of what's happening around us. So that allows us to shift, like you were saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that idea, the myth of failure, right? It's a story that we tell ourselves. It doesn't have to be our definitive reality.
Yeah.
So we're in gate 32 now. Are we going to be in that for a week?
Yeah, we entered into that now, and so we're going to be in that until the 19th, and then we will shift again.
Nice.
So then come back next week and see what we're shifting into.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. Should we say hello to some people?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We've got a whole bunch of you here, which is awesome. So we have Kaylee, Fogo Pogo. Hey,
Kaylee.
How's it going?
Happy Thanksgiving, Kaylee.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all of our Canadians watching, and to everyone else, because it's good to be thankful. Laura snapped. Hello.
Hi, Laura.
And we have Nalani. Hey, Nalani, welcome. And we have Dolores. Hey, Dolores, welcome. And
Beth.
Rising, Beth.
Hello.
And we have, who else have we got here? You guys are all talking back and forth, which is awesome. Best chatters, right? And,
I love it,
Gerald. Best chatters. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zane, Tarot Token Witchery is here.
I love this too.
This is your brain on
This is your brain on solar flares.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty much. There we are. Hey, Zane. And we have Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Slugger
Booley. Welcome.
Hello.
We have Leah Omega. And we have Edward Kenneth, who's working and lurking. Beautiful. So welcome, everyone. It's great to have you all here. And So what have you noticed, Gerald, in the last couple of weeks?
Well, I was just curious if you guys wanted to share something small for which you were grateful.
Oh, I have so much.
That gratitude.
I have so much that I'm grateful for.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I could say I'm grateful for all of you, because I am.
Yeah.
And my friends and family and my clients and my business, and I'm grateful for the house, and I'm grateful for food, and I'm grateful for, it just could go on and on.
There you go.
And, I'm grateful for my dogs that are yapping in the back. But it's been really lovely having time. We did a class up here over the weekend, and one of our students from out of town was able to come in, so that's been really lovely too. Like, there's just been so many beautiful things. The weather is gorgeous. We were able to sit outside and do some things. Yeah, we had a great night on Saturday. It's been lovely. And as Tanys said, I don't think that there is an end to the gratitude for how things are and how they've been.
One of the things that for which I am experiencing gratitude is today's show earlier about grief and mourning hit me much more than what I was expecting. So I'm very thankful, and I have a great deal of gratitude for my guests who were with me and helped to ensure a safe space for me, and a lot of the people who were watching who were sharing very authentically and genuinely. It was beautiful to see. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was really amazing. It was really amazing. So
That's wonderful. Well, it's wonderful
Yeah.
that you were able to create that safe space for people to be able to share, because
Mhm.
such a, it's such a rare thing sometimes to be able to have real authentic safe spaces. And so it's a beautiful thing that you're creating.
Well, thank you. Especially conversations like me. The grief show was incredible and made us all cry. Yes, including Gerald. That happens a lot.
Mhm.
Um,
Tears are good.
tears are good. It's just a release. I think what's really interesting is there is such a desire and a need for more connection with each other.
Mm.
This is a world of we're words are hard. Sometimes it's
Yes.
challenging. It's easier to find the way we are different than the way we are similar.
Mhm.
I appreciate people who can pause long enough to really soak something in to what someone else is saying, give it time to process with a meaningful response. Now, I say, give it time to process. Well, that can take all of that long,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it's intentional. It's the people who are fully present and being aware, it's significant, I think. I think
Yeah.
that's significant. So you were asking, what have I noticed in the last 2 weeks? There's this huge need from Gerald's perspective, for entertainment purposes only, blah, 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 for us to slow down a
Mhm.
minute and
Mhm.
go, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Before responding?
Yes.
Great things. And then be willing to be uncomfortable with, I don't know if it's true. What do I do?
Mhm. Do I want to accept this as a framework or a belief?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So I felt like I'm soapboxing there for a second, but you keep inviting me back. So
That's usually when you're channeling, Gerald.
something I've been listening to. I don't know if you all are familiar with Brene Brown.
Mhm.
Brene Brown, incredible, actually really helped to flip her work on vulnerability was her TED
Yes.
talk on that. Go find it. It's got millions and millions and millions of views. I encourage you to consider giving it a watch. There's a couple of them that
Yeah.
are really powerful, impactful for me. She has a new book out. It is called
Mm.
Strong Ground. Uh, and it's like, well, would you? That's an interesting idea. So there's this need to slow down and to not discount but honor. And boy, the world has changed since she first wrote her
Yeah.
since she wrote her first book.
Yeah.
It has.
Many of the principles are still the same. They just spit in slightly differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was Jennifer's probably writing that down, going,
I have a few of her books, and I do think that they're very well done and very powerful and very relevant for the process of coming home to ourselves.
and I don't always agree with her. I will push back. It's fun to entertain the idea. It's like, ooh, yeah, okay, got it. That's an interesting perspective. I appreciate a different perspective now more than ever with the the energy flow that is happening. We need to, well, and it goes back to that, everything is part of the experience in gate 32. Is this still true for me? Does this need to be different?
Or is the value of the experience different?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you said about how I don't agree with everything, but there's still value, and how we can often get very definitive in the way that we think. We can get very caught up in, they say black or white thinking, all or nothing thinking. And it's important to be able to make that decision around, is this still relevant for me? Does this, still serve me? And if it doesn't, that's okay. But then I don't have to throw all of it away. Right?
Correct.
I do
That's
have
right.
the ability to go, okay, this aspect doesn't really serve me, but this one I still want to hold on to, and that's okay. It's okay to shift and ebb and flow. It doesn't have to be all or nothing.
And when we do that consciously and out loud, the people who love us and understand us and want to be close to us become closer to us. That's part of the vulnerability of that.
Yeah.
It also normalizes the fact I am having to think about this differently. New things have come in. There's this great power in when we have new information do we put it in and let it impact the thought process, our values, the information we have? Let's go, think back in the world of science, metaphysics, whatever. When new information comes in, people consider it, they play with it, they look at it, they try to incorporate it, or they try to dispute it. And in the effort to dispute it, they prove that it's even more relevant. And they do so with a rigor that is a form of passion. Sometimes I'm lazy and I don't have that passion or that rigor to be able to follow through with it.
Well, and that's where discernment comes in too, right? Is during that process, we're starting to discern what our beliefs are around that and how we're going to step forward.
Yeah.
With that, are we going to accept it or not in our own framework?
One of the things that Brene talks about early on in the book, and I wrote it down because this was one I'm going to have to think about, is the idea of paradox. Go look that word up, kids, and think about it and how multiple things can be true.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that just with emotions.
Yes.
You have multiple emotions being true at the same time. And I think that because the mind constantly wants to understand, it wants to compartmentalize and label and do all of these things that, make it really difficult for us to be able to just sit with all of the things so that we can feel it and get the wisdom from it through the body, because the mind is in there just, plugging away at what's going on.
Well, and you had talked about when you had mentioned gate 32, everything is part of the experience. The experience is the experience. It's neither good nor bad.
Yeah.
It's just the experience.
Yeah.
That's a mind flip.
Yep.
Because we're in a world where my experience in the world has been there is a right way and a wrong way, a good or a bad, a yes or a no, instead of being, well, it can be both and it can be all three. It's like, and it's liberating and scary at the same time. How's that for a paradox?
Absolutely. I say, with clients often when we're doing, therapy, I said, like, the process that you go through is probably one of the biggest paradoxes. I don't always use the word, but it can be the scariest and most liberating experience.
Mhm.
Because when we get to that place of taking, full responsibility for our experience, that's
Yeah.
tough.
That's a paradox right there, right? We have to take responsibility, and that can bring that, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for that. And yet I'm responsible for that. I can create whatever I want. There's the freedom in that part, right?
Yes. I just did the show on grief and mourning. Grief is not and mourning are not linear, and they're cyclical, and they're messy, and don't try to force it. And those of us who are observing people who are in that state, if we just meet people where they are, that can bring up a lot of our own stuff.
Yeah.
There's a sense of beauty and meaning if we were, the continuity of this and the preservation and the transformation could be, we sit knowing that both of us, or all three of us on screen, are, it's messy, I don't like this, it makes me uncomfortable, I want to help, I want it to go away, I want to understand it, I don't like it. So I think that it goes back to that idea of being present and being in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So enriching and deep.
Yeah. That's just like, when you say that, it just, my heart, right, just fills with that, because that presence is very hard for us sometimes. Right? We want to be there, we want to be present. But I loved, Gerald, what you were saying about how we have all these things happening. And that part of us that wants to shut it down, doesn't want to feel the feels because we have a judgment around it, or we feel like, no, this isn't a good feeling. I don't want to have this. And I don't want you to have this because I don't like this feeling. And then we try to fix, we go into fixer mode, right? Yeah. As opposed to being able to just sit with it and be okay with the discomfort of it. It's such an important part of our process to get to a place where we can observe all of the nuances of the paradoxes, of all the things that are happening within us all at once, so that we can go, oh, okay, I get what this pull is. I get what this trigger is. I understand what this is trying to do. And now I get to make choice, right? Am I going to act on those things? Or am I going to make a decision to be a certain way, or to show up a certain way, or to hold space a certain way?
Yeah. Yes. And the fact, I noticed you have enough skill to notice when you feel things in your body. I don't always have that ability. And so it's neither good nor bad. It's just an awareness. It's a tool I have not developed fully yet. It's neither good nor bad. And maybe that's Pollyanna, and come from a YouTube, tell me that's Pollyanna. But it's this importance of, we have to, and we're talking about this next week, Jennifer, becoming the observer.
Yeah.
And really noticing. When we notice the power of the Schumann, the solar flares, the transits, the phases of the moon, our natural body rhythms, the rhythms of the people around us, how we feel when we see our partners, our children.
Yeah. And it comes back to Claire's, because the feeling is that you can have that clairsentience, right? Those are those of us that are very much in tune with that sort of the feelings that come along with that. And that can be the physical or the emotional, because they're all tied to the body. So, the clairsentience thing is a big clue to how we have that. But that's not everybody's strength, right? So you're going to utilize the strengths that you have in your toolbox in terms of that.
I love that. What's important for us to remember, the strengths that we have in our toolbox grow and evolve as we every day.
Absolutely.
And I forget to do that. I've done shows where I've talked about, okay, grounding. What used to work for grounding for me isn't working for me.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong. It's just I'm different. The world is different. How am I willing to meet it?
Absolutely.
And you were talking about the evolving practices, you know, like maybe this practice isn't working for me, and then people just throw out the whole practice when really maybe it's just a tweak on the practice that you're using, right? In whatever that is.
It could be a break.
Yeah.
It could be I'm going to take a sabbatical and I'm not going to do this.
Mhm.
And what happens the second week into the sabbatical of not doing it, they might miss it.
Yes.
And again, grief is really current on my mind. Part of the grieving process, and I still do this. There's, my parents have been dead for many years. There are still times when I go, ooh, I want to tell Dad about that. Or, oh, I need to ask Mom about that recipe. Kaylee and I were doing a creativity conversation about creativity in the kitchen. Mom, what did you used to do for? Okay, I can't do this. I can do other things if I so choose. But I have to remember that.
Yeah.
I want to go back for a minute, Gerald, too, because this inspires me to turn fear into absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
And this goes back, even that ties in to what I wanted to go back to, Gerald, when you were saying about, like, I'm not the Pollyanning it and I'm not and all that challenged me. I think that it's such a beautiful place to be, where we recognize our limitation, where we recognize where, you know what, I don't have access to that right now. Doesn't mean I'm never going to. It doesn't mean that I am going to. It just means that in this moment, this is where I'm at, and that's okay. And it's such a beautiful place to be able to hold that space for ourselves without the judgment around it. And so I don't think that that's, again, you're saying it's not good, it's not bad. I agree with that wholeheartedly, because as soon as we put a judgment to it, we feel either inferior, superior, good, bad, right, wrong, whatever it is. But if we don't have that judgment, then to Hypnicity's comment, it turns fear into curiosity. I can go, okay, I don't have that. Now what? Do I want to work on that? Do I want to bring that into my experience? Do I not want to work on that?
Yes.
Am I not in a place where I want to bring that into my experience? And again, it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just, what's next? Where do I want to go from here? And so I love that turning fear into curiosity aspect, because it does allow us to kind of go, okay, now what?
And it's kind of like, we wouldn't judge a kindergarten person for not knowing how to do calculus. If we're not there yet, it's okay. That's just part of the journey. It's part of our evolution in
And
whatever
not
that is.
Going to do calculus, and that's okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Does it matter? Not everyone's going to be a doctor. Does that matter? No.
Well, to some people, in some people's mind, it does matter. It matters for reasons that don't necessarily relate to the person with whom we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right.
And so, and you saw what I did there, Tanys. I watched you go, how's he going to spin this? And it's just like going, but it's important because, I think about, my parents wanted me to be happy, wanted me to be successful. Tell your father that when I told my dad, I was like going, I'm not going to do advertising. I'm going to do fine arts. And he's like, what are you going to do with that? And I said, well, I could teach. And his first comment, which we got through, was, well, those who can't do teach. And I went, and I can be a damn good teacher. But the point is this idea of in his mind, he had an expectation for me of hopes for being happy. He and Mom both quickly switched and went, we can tell you're doing something that makes you happy. And that's what's good. Not everybody can do that because the name or the letters after your name are really significantly important in some cultures. Completely understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I say this with clients so often. It's like, it's okay. Like, people in your life can want things to be a certain way. They can want you to be a certain way. You can want them to be a certain way. We can have those desires, but that still doesn't give anybody permission to dictate anything to anybody else.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I what is really interesting, I would, if I had a magic wand, if I had a magic
Which you
wand,
do.
which
you
I do, I should not turn it on without warning.
do.
I would, and part of this is I've been paying attention to different things, and it may be transits, it could be a wide variety of things. And I know for me personally, I'm finding myself wanting to be around people who think differently than me, that can hold space while I consider what they're saying.
Yes.
So I don't want people to just agree with me. I want people to, well, did you ever think about this?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's this. And part of the excitement about that and the fear is I get to think something different. And then the fear is I have to think about it differently. And but boy, it really takes a special kind of person who makes us go, all right, wait a minute. Let me think about that. That's a lot to chew on right now.
Yeah.
And I had a therapist at one point. A good friend of mine was annoying me because she was asking me some hard questions, and by gosh, I didn't want to answer those hard questions 20 years ago. And I was mentioning this to my therapist, who simply said to me, sounds like the kind of friend that I want to have in my life. And I went, oh, fudge. To which we had the conversation about how I can articulate what this opportunity this friend is giving me.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
As a tarot reader and a reader, and both of you you may have a similar experience. Your mileage may vary. Sometimes I'm telling people things they may know or they kind of knew, and suddenly I'm going, there it is. Look at it. There it is. You're going to look at it. And how do you hold space for that? There's a great skill in that. And I want people like that. I'm desiring more of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
Yeah. And I find that is a big role that I play with a lot of my clients, is doing that, expanding their awareness, right? I mean, there's people that come and they haven't been involved in any sort of spiritual practice when they come to me. And it's really about, starting slow, meeting them where they're at. Of course, I'm not going to jump into dragons and elves, but, meeting them where they're at and kind of going, so there's this energy thing and that kind of thing. But it is to open up their awareness and then hold space while they go, oh, okay. All right. I understand that you understand that. Now I need to process whether it's in my realm or not, right? My reality.
Absolutely. I love Gerald, when you were talking about like holding up the card. And I feel like that's also kind of what your therapist did in that moment for you. And I have to say, in my experience, I love that. I have had moments where clients have been like cursing, like just that initial like, F you, Jen. And I'm like, cool. So what's happening for you right now? Right. And it's like, you're making me look at something I don't want to look at, but yeah, okay, I got to look at that. Right. And it's such a beautiful moment. And you said, like, how do we hold space for that? And I think different relationships call for different things.
Yeah.
But I love to be able to bring some lightheartedness to the moment when those things happen. Right.
Yes.
So that we don't go into that spiral of like beating ourselves up or why did I do this or why didn't I do that? But just to be able to go, yeah, cool. All right. So that's tough. Now what?
I had a client the other day that I had that experience with too, that was like, I pushed him out of his comfort zone with doing some of the emotional work, like the energetic emotions. And he was like, I'm like, you're getting really pissed off with me right now, aren't you? And I kind of laughed about it and he laughed about it. And then we were able to push a little bit more, right? It lightened the use of humor in it.
Yes.
Helps.
Humor is one of those things, a laugh, a chuckle, it shifts the energy. I think it changes it. Oh, my husband's the music person, so it changes it from a minor key to a major key. It shifts it. And Jeffrey, if you're watching this, please tell me if that's an accurate statement. But and one is not better than the other. It does influence the rest of it. Well, if Rachel Rose is here, is that right? Because it can definitely shift it. And Tanys, backstage, you were talking about the beauty of the aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that.
sometimes what's necessary is we need to do this for our friends. When we watch somebody have an aha moment, we need to let them have it and then draw attention to it and say, you know what? You had this nice little aha moment that I saw. Did you recognize that?
Help them celebrate their successes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so amazing. This and part of that is I always go back to this. Gerald takes notes, but I've already got a full page of notes as we're into this, and I have no idea how far we're into it. This idea of is this mine? Is what's coming up, is this mine? And it's okay for it to be yours. It's also okay for it not to be yours. And you go, is this mine? Nope, it's not mine. Because it informs how we move forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
How we learn from it, right? Whether if it's ours, then there is something to do with it.
Yes.
If it's not,
and if it's not ours, then there is still something to learn from it, which I think is so beautiful. Because Gerald, you were talking earlier, and I was like, okay, I could totally geek out on like defined versus undefined head and ajna in this moment, but I'm not going to go there because that's not what we're doing today. But there is this piece around how, I loved what you were saying about this, like, challenge me, because the defined head and ajna can be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Certain. I can't find the word. That's funny.
Ironic.
But that doesn't make it right. And the undefined wants to be so certain, but also it doesn't make it right. And I think that that's such a beautiful place to be. All of us, regardless of where we're at, need to get into that not knowing space. And so having somebody who's willing to challenge us and challenge our thought process and all of that does that for us. And it holds that space for us. And so I just, like, to what you're saying, like, I just feel like there's such a beautiful opportunity there when we're able to go, just, I need to sit with that for a minute. Just give me a minute and let me see where that takes me.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I think this is, so I'm trying to figure out, this is Gerald's processing going, and how does this relate to anything that we were talking about, Gerald? To which I'm quickly going, this relates to everything that we are talking about. This continuity, the preservation, everything is part of the experience, the paradox, the aha moments. What I'm experiencing now, and your mileage may vary, the patience that we have to do this isn't always present. So hands up for people who are finding patience a bit of a challenge these days. Because, on that case, I will absolutely put 2 tiny hands up for that. I mean,
yeah.
However, I'm oftentimes finding that I might be able to hold patience for other people, yet not for myself.
Mm-hmm. That is common.
Yeah.
We do tend to do that. It's easier to be patient with somebody else than with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haley is very patient. Pogo is patient. Patience. I'm going to turn that into a short. So it's an interesting thing. There's so much. I mean, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're into fall, autumn, which is the darker part of the year, where people spend a lot of time inside by themselves, not doing things. There can be a bit of spiral with that. Jilly from Little Zen Crone, who is a friend of mine, I've done some Buddhist book discussions with. She talked about knowing. She talked about having a bit of a kit for like when seasonal depression, seasonal affective disorder, or other things happen. Part of this is being willing to look at what our natural tendencies are, our natural cycles, and prepare for them and go, okay. The easy one that everybody talks about is, the moon phases.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about full moon driving people crazy and making people insane. I, on the other hand, find a full moon really great. Love it. There are some people who are extremely skilled in astrology, and they are very keen on things that, I just got an interesting image on the harp. When certain things happen, it causes the string to be plucked, and then there's radiations.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's so interesting. And if we take a little bit of time and slow down, and I have to remember, I don't have to say the first thing that comes to my head.
I need to remember that too.
Yeah.
Because
it's messy.
Powerful.
It's messy. What?
He said finding the pause is powerful.
It can be.
Sacred pause. Yeah, Jilly talked about the sacred pause. Yep. One of the other things that I wrote down, actually I wrote 2 things down, which are really interesting. This myth of oh yeah, there you go. Woohoo! The myth of failure.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. There may be a laugh and learn about that.
The myth of failure. First attempt in learning. Yep.
first attempt in learning. Then this idea of hypnicity set it, the fear into curiosity.
Mhm.
Because that's a creativity conversation going on. I've had 2 conversations about fear and following the fascination. These are new habits and new pathways we develop. We're not broken.
Mm-mm.
You are not broken. For those of you who are watching going, you're not broken. You're wired perfectly for you.
Yeah.
And Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I know you will. I count on that. The idea of understanding our human design is this is where I'm comfortable, and what my natural tendencies are doesn't mean I can't do something else.
That's right.
Absolutely. We can do whatever we want, if we're being really honest in a lot of ways.
Do whatever
But
we want.
We have free will.
what I love about it is, again, that permission to be who we know we are. And so it is that component where we go, like, yeah, I can look at this and I can use this. And some people do use it as this is a set framework of how I'm supposed to be, and that's it. And if that's what serves us, great. But ultimately what it really is for me, and what I believe you're getting to there with that is, Gerald, is it's a framework that we can use to gain understanding. It's like a launching point. We get to decide from there where we want to go with it.
Yeah. Even
Just
the
like
dogs.
Yeah, even the dogs agree. 3 out of 4 dogs agree.
Perfect. Majority rules.
Tanys, you have been you've been soaking this all in, and I have just been I just looked at the time and I went, oh, okay. Apparently I have been talking a lot.
Okay.
What thoughts do you have on all of this stuff? I'm gonna have to watch the playback so I can find out what was said.
Yeah. I have put 2 cents worth in here. And
okay.
There. Yeah, I'm good. I agree. Yeah. I am on board. I think it's important
I just get this huge importance that, and I just pulled this card. I got the 9 of Swords. We are right now in an environment where we are overthinking everything and allowing those 9 thoughts to permeate our entire being. We're not paying attention to the 9,270 other thoughts that are around.
Yeah.
And we're not doing that. We're also not getting good sleep.
That is something people are struggling with, yes.
Yeah. And so.
And some of that goes back to the Schumann and everything too, right? Because it does affect how we feel. Yeah. Hypnicity, or Nalani said that's an appropriate card. So she must be feeling that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's so fascinating because there are billions of things that we could put our mind to or think about. And we notice that the mind kind of ruminates on the same, maybe 9, maybe more, maybe less things. Right? And that becomes what kind of takes over for us. And so we look at that and go, okay, how can we shift that energy? And to what we started with, the card I pulled for the Seeds from the Sacred Feminine is say
your home play. Say a prayer of thanks.
Right? Such
appropriate for today. You can't make this stuff up, folks.
Absolutely. But also just that idea, right, of like where are we at and what kind of experience do we want to have? You know, it was so funny. I had one client and that, they just were like, you know what, I just want to wallow today. It's like, okay, we get to choose what kind of experience we want to have. And that's okay. Just as long as we shift it eventually and we have a new experience.
Correct.
Right. And it's really about that whole you know, every time we learn something, we're shifting our experience. So, you know, being comfortable with that. We're never the same person 2 days in a row.
Yeah. And I think that when we're in a place where we have those heavy emotions, like, yes, we can shift it. And saying a prayer of thanks is a beautiful way of shifting that energy. But sometimes it's important for us to sit in the heaviness of it. Like with the grief that you were talking about, Gerald, it's not, we're not meant to just shift out of it. We're meant to allow ourselves to process it. And so it's okay to say, you know what, I'm gonna actually give myself permission to sit in this for a little bit and actually feel what I need to feel and release what I need to release from it. However long that takes, without judgment or expectation of it being a certain way.
That's really beautiful, because when we do that, it actually lasts a shorter amount of time than if we didn't do that. Beth said something earlier in the chat today, is like avoidance is a way to lengthen it, or something like that. And so when we go, I see you, I'm going to, let's sit down, have a cup of tea. I'm not inviting you to move in, but what do you got?
Yeah.
Because that's what people want. People want to, okay, that's what I want. I want to be seen and I want to be heard.
I think that's a very common need, right? As human beings, we're very much, you know, we communicate. It's what we do. And whether we're doing it verbally, whether we're doing it body language, we're communicating. And we want to have that feedback of conversation, of being heard, of being seen. We want to feel valued.
Yeah.
Sometimes I watch short videos on social media to where it's like the tagline is just like showing up matters, where you see kids who are coming on the stage to sing or something like that. And then, you know, the kids looking around, suddenly they see their family member, their friend, their grandparent. Family member and grandparent are the same thing. But they suddenly, their whole world changes. And I saw one recently of men seeing their wives when they're coming, you know.
Yeah, I was watching one of those last night. Yeah.
And I'm like going, yeah, that's, I mean, I want to have that look when it's important, you know, when it happens. It's like, you know, dogs are really good at that.
Yeah.
It's like you may have gone outside for 2 minutes and you walk back in and it's like, oh, you're here. Cats, on the other hand, are like going, and where's my food?
Well, we need a blend of friends, right?
We do.
They're the ones that come and cuddle you.
Yes. And all of them have a tendency to know when we need those cuddles.
Absolutely.
Sometimes humans don't have that. Oftentimes children do know that.
Yes.
And wouldn't it be nice if the adults around us knew it's just like, I'm having a rough day. Okay.
Yeah. I think animals in general really know that, right? Okay. Jay Cat Lady. I love my cats, right? I love them too. And I do think that they do know, right? Leah, medicine cats. I remember reading something once about how the animals they give us Reiki, right? They come up and they're kneading and they're doing all of that with the cats specifically, but with animals in general. Like my guys, you know, cats, dogs, they all come up and they're like, okay, I'm just going to give you some energy right now. It's okay.
Yeah,
right?
they help for sure.
We could be as perceptive as they are. Right. But again, they're so in the present moment, right? There's so many things that these animals can teach us.
Well, Leah says the purring builds bone. There you go.
I love that.
Nice.
Kaylee says that was her experience on Saturday. She was in such a funk being alone for Thanksgiving, but ended up leaving with spirits lifted and feeling myself because of my friends. Yeah.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Cats heal upper body. Dogs heal lower body.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hadn't heard that. Cool.
Cat people or dog people. We need to just be both.
We need to
people.
be both. Where do guinea pigs fall in that?
Equilateral healing, right?
So where do guinea pigs fall in that? Because
Yes.
I like that. That's where they fall. Yes.
yes.
Actually,
Perfect.
you bring up that is a curious thing. You can do the interwebs is a vast sort of information. Some of it is actually accurate. You could do a search and go, what's the totem energy of a guinea pig?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if it feels right, then go for it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's remember the cartoon cat dog.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect healing tool.
All
Awesome.
right. Shall I read this to you guys?
Yes, please.
Okay. Say a prayer of thanks. To be in a state of gratitude is to be one with all of creation. Be grateful for your life, grandchild. When you feel grateful, you see more beauty in your world because more beauty reveals itself to you. Your ancestors knew this trick. They practiced gratitude in their daily earth walk and gave thanks to the Sacred Mother, their source of life. This habitual offering of thanks developed their spiritual body and encouraged a practice of reciprocity. The patchwork grandmothers encourage you to develop ritual of gratitude and reciprocity as well. What you give to creation, you receive from creation. Remember your sacred lineage. So much good can come to you when you call it forth. Give thanks. Only the good planted in your heart can attract more good to you. This is sacred law. A simple prayer of thanks is a profound tool for a good life. Use it.
Mm-hmm. And thanks can really shift your mood
Mm-hmm.
quickly, which I love too. Mm-hmm. Leah says, love to you all, but she must go.
You.
Bye.
Replace my attitude with unconditional love. Beautiful. Thank you. So what have you got going on, Gerald, this week?
At the top of the next hour, I have a reading show on my channel. I'm hosting duality pairs in tarot on Tuesday. That's part 2. I have a back and forth. Oh, no, I have a deck casual on Tuesday afternoon where we're looking at the Felt Tarot by Jamie Sawyer.
Cool.
Wow.
I have a show, a creativity conversation with Allie from Heart and Soul Connected. I'm looking forward to that. I also have a whole bunch of other shows coming up the rest of the month. So subscribe.
Yes.
Link is in the description. So, yes.
Like and subscribe to all 3, please, because then you'll know what's happening.
Next Monday, I've got this, world-renowned author on. We're talking, we're talking about we're doing a laugh and learn about becoming the observer.
Mm-hmm.
This is a person, her name is Jennifer from My Holistic Self. So we're going to talk about this conversation about being the observer.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I'm so excited.
I am too. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Jen, what have you got going on?
Well, I'm going to be on with Gerald on
Yes.
next Monday at 2:00 Eastern, just before.
Yep. We have support group.
And we have support group. Yes, we have support group on Saturday. And yeah, I think that's all I have this week in terms of online stuff.
All right. So for me, we just started a new podcast. I started one with Jacqueline Richards, and it's called, yes, that one, Jacqueline Richards.
Yeah.
Yoga for Your Personal Finance. In fact, she is teaching the contents of that book starting next week. I believe. Yes, starting next week, 26th on Sunday. So stay tuned, right? TwillowLifestyle.ca. It's posted there. So she's going to be talking all about chakras and money and how that connects. And so that's coming up. We're doing a new podcast on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. So it's weekly, called Infinite Integrations, where we're connecting the mystic, the spiritual with mind, it's mind, body, and spirit, basically.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're bringing that all together and giving integrations on how to do those integrations. And what else do I have going on? I have a Reiki masterclass in person. So anybody that's local in Ottawa, I have that coming on Sunday. And I have an Aqua Lead Level 1. Sorry, that's Saturday. I have an Aqua Lead Level 1 on Sunday. That one is actually online. And it's all about, reprogramming the water in the body. Let's fix the water in the body. We're 80% water.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we did a laugh and learn about water.
We did. And you took Aqua Lead.
I did.
So you know all about it.
Yes. It's good.
Jen took it too. So yeah, it's like a Reiki, but it's about water. It focuses on the water and the energy in the water. So yeah, so that's what's coming up. Jacqueline is also starting to do stuff, online yoga. So that's coming up because we're building the school, the yoga school as well. So stay tuned for exciting stuff coming with that. So check out the site.
Yes.
Cool. For all that stuff.
Which is linked below.
It is. TwillowLifestyle.ca. So, final words. Jen?
It's so funny. It's just like such a simple, just be.
Just be.
Just
Perfect. Gerald?
How can you release yourself from the myth of failure?
Yeah. Very good. And I really liked the fear and changing that into, I'm actually going to change it, fear into an adventure. How can you see it as an adventure instead of a, negative journey?
Yeah.
Go through the fear. Sit with it. So thanks everyone for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all the channels. And thank you, Gerald, for being with us as always. It's wonderful having you. And we shall see you all next week.
Bye.
Take care now.